guys, let's talk about anatomy of the eye today. So eyes are the organs. They take the light from the world around and they send this visual information to the brain, right? An eye, it's present in a bony cage. So you all may know this is the bony cage around the eye. This is called orbit. So the name of this is orbit. So eyeball is a ball, right? So it must be having some volume. So the eyeball has the volume of 6 ml and this orbit has a volume of 30 ml in total. Okay? Okay. The eyeball is having 3 layers in total: the outermost layer, middle layer, and innermost. Okay. So if I just remove this around things, so this is your eyeball now. See, we have got 3 layers. I'm just showing the first of all the outermost layer, which is having 2 parts actually. The posterior part, let's say from here to here, this whole part, this is sclera, and your anterior part, this is called as cornea. Okay, and there is a junction between, you can see the junction between cornea and sclera. This is called as limbus. Okay, clinically it has importance, so that's why there is a name given to this junction. This is limbus. So sclera and cornea, these will be discussing one by one. So let's start with the cornea first. So cornea has got 6 layers in total. We will start from the first layer. Before that, let's discuss about the cornea itself, the appearance of the cornea. You all know the sclera is opaque, but this cornea is the only central part, the front part, in which through which the light can pass. Why can the light pass? If it was also opaque and white, could the light pass through it? No. This is transparent. That is where the light is passing, right? So that's why cornea is transparent, right? And this is avascular because if there was any vascularity, it won't be that transparent, because whenever there is any vasculature, there could be the inflammation present, right? But in the cornea, we don't have any vasculature. That's why this is transparent. There are many other reasons also why the cornea is transparent. There is many helpful things which are helping the cornea to be transparent, but the avascularity is one of them. Let's start with the outermost layer of the cornea. This is called epithelium. This epithelium is non-keratinized, stratified, squamous epithelium. Okay, non-keratinized. There is no keratinization because this is transparent. Just remember that word. Okay. Then stratified, squamous epithelium. You know, this is stratified. There must be some stratas. How many stratas are there? How many layers of this epithelium are there? There are 3 layers: the superficial, middle, and basal. Okay, the basal has got the power of mitosis. Okay, why that is important? Because that is why due to this basal layer, this basal strata, the epithelium can regenerate. Okay, so there is a power of regeneration. Okay, posterior to the epithelium, there is Bowman's layer. Bowman's layer is acellular. Okay, it means there are no cells. So whenever there is any trauma, it heals by scar formation. Okay, and that leads to corneal opacity. So this heals by scar. Okay, what is stroma? Stroma is the third layer of the cornea. This is 90% of the corneal thickness. Total thickness of the cornea, 90% is made up of stroma. Okay, and it contains collagen type 1. Okay, so stroma, collagen type 1. Next layer is Dua's layer. Dua's layer is the strongest layer of cornea. Next layer is Descemet's membrane. Basement membrane is continuously secreted by the underlying endothelium cells. So endothelium cells are continuously secreting it. So it means again it can regenerate. So this layer also has the power of regeneration, right? Okay. Next is endothelium, the last one, the sixth layer. It is metabolically active layer. Okay, this is metabolically active, and it is single cell layer. So there is just a single cell layer which is called as endothelium layer, and this is very much important to maintain the corneal transparency. Okay, because it has the endothelium cells. These cells are tightly bound to each other. They are not letting the aqueous pass through it, and they are just preventing the eye to get the the opacity, the corneal edema actually. Okay, yeah, so this is very important, and they are preventing the corneal edema. So I will say they are maintaining the corneal transparency. Okay, next is sclera. What is sclera? Sclera is from here to here. So this posterior part is sclera, guys. This we have already done. This is cornea. The junction between the cornea and sclera, that was limbus. This one, and now we are studying this posterior part, which is around 5/6 of it. The front part was that which was visible, but this is not visible. You can see the white part in your eye. That is the only part of the sclera which is visible. Behind it we have a lot, and we'll study about that. So sclera has got three layers in total. These are episclera. This has the dense vasculature. Okay, then we have sclera proper, which is avascular, and from where it's getting the nutrition from episclera, because episclera has two vasculatures. One is superficial and one is deep. So this deep is supplying the sclera proper also, and the third layer is lamina fusca. Okay, then it's uvea. Next layer is uvea. So we did the outermost layer that contained cornea and sclera. Now we are in the middle layer, which is called as uvea. It has three parts again anatomically. So let's talk about them. So this is the diagram you may see, or let me just a second. So now you can understand that was the outermost part. Yes, sclera and that. So yeah, this one's sclera and this is cornea. Yes. Okay. Now, how many parts are there? This is, you can see this one. This is iris. Okay, iris is a muscle. Iris is a muscle, and this muscle is responsible for your to dilate the pupil and to constrict the pupil. Right, whenever there is light present or light is not present, there is a dark in that conditions. So in between there is an aperture. You can see a small part. Yes. Okay, and this is called as pupil. What is that? Pupil, just a gap between this iris muscle. Okay, this side also, this is iris. Now posterior to the iris, this is complete uvea. Okay, this color is complete uvea. Now behind the iris we are seeing some part. Yes, this some projections, I would say, and this is called a ciliary body. Now ciliary body has two parts, the one with the projections and one without projections. I would say from here to here this is complete ciliary body. Okay, so anterior part, I would say this one with the projections, this is known as pars plicata. Okay, and posterior to it we have got pars plana, because it's plain, so you can remember the plana, pars plana. Okay, posterior to it, the complete this area, this complete thing, yes, this is called as choroid. What is that? Choroid. Okay, so how many parts do we have now? This is iris, pars plicata, pars plana, and choroid. Okay, and these pars plicata and pars plana, they are together ciliary body. Okay, And functionally we have got three parts again. This is anterior uvea, intermediate uvea and posterior uvea. Iris and pars plicata, they are anterior uvea. Pars plana is the only one structure in the intermediate uvea, and the choroid is the only one present in the, so this was second part and this is third part, choroid, which was the only part in the posterior uvea. Okay, yes. Now you know iris is a muscle, okay, which has aperture, the pupil. It is pigmented muscle, I would say. That's why there is a color. Yes, of the different eye colors are there due to these pigments. Okay. Now these ciliary processes, they have a very important function. What's the function? These ciliary process, you know, there is a two there is one fluid in the eye which is called aqueous. We'll be studying about that in the next slides. But so here we have the aqueous, and these are the projections which are responsible for this aqueous secretion. So they are continuously secreting the aqueous. Okay, so they are giving the aqueous. Okay, now we have pars plana. Pars plana is relatively avascular. Okay, now why I'm telling you that, because this avascularity is very important for us, because whenever we are giving intra vitreal injections in the eye, in that case this part has an important role. Through here we are giving the injection. That's why it's avascular and many procedures can be done from here. So that's why it's important. The innermost layer of the eye is known as retina. Retina is incomplete neural layer. Okay, why it's incomplete? You see, we have talked about two layers before, uvea and the sclera. Now we are talking about retina. Retina is starting here and it's ending here only. It means it's not in the anterior side. You see, it's just covering the posterior part of the eye. Okay, that's why we are talking about we have said that this is incomplete layer, and it's neural layer because it will take the light and it will make it into the it will convert it into the action potential, and that will reach to the brain. Yes, okay, to the visual cortex in the brain. Okay, so this is your retina. Retina ends here. This part where the retina is ending, this is known as ora serrata. Okay, this anterior termination of the retina is known as ora serrata. Okay, let's talk about the parts of the retina in general. So the parts are, you must have seen this photo somewhere. This is known as fundus. What is fundus? Fundus is the location, the view of the eye, the inside and back view of the eye. Okay, whenever we do the ophthalmoscopy, in that we see this view. Yes, what is this? This is called as fundus, in which we can see some parts of the retina. What are these parts? Let me show you. Okay, so this is what you can see here. This, let me come mark it. This one is complete your optic disc. What is this? Optic disc. Optic disc is the first part of the optic nerve. From here the optic nerve starts. Okay, the diameter of the optic disc is 1.5 mm. 1.5 mm. Okay. So from the optic disc you can see some vessels are coming out. Yes, these are some vessels which are coming out of it. So they are making a specific kind of structure which is starting from here and it's ending here. So that's why you can always remember which side is temporal by just seeing at the fundus. Wherever these vessels are going, that side is your temporal. Just a second, this is temporal, and wherever the optic nerve is, that side is your nasal. Okay, and you can see which the central part where we don't have any specific or any big blood vessels, and these blood vessels are going only side by side, but they are not reaching properly in the macula. This is respectively, I would say respectively avascular area. This is known as macula. Okay, this is known as macula. And in center of the macula, let's say this is macula, in the center of the macula we have fovea. This point is known as fovea, this point, let's say. Okay, and this is your macula. Okay, what is fovea? Fovea is responsible for the central vision. Why? Because we have more amount of cones here. Okay, the cones are most of the cones are red. They are the concentration of these cells, it's in the high amount in the center. That's why this is your macula and fovea. This is the part, but we don't have any rods and cones properly, or we can say in very minute amount they are present on the optic disc. That's why this optic disc is known as blind spot. Okay, blind spot. From here the optic disc, from the optic disc the optic nerve starts. This is the starting point of the optic nerve. Okay, what else can we see? We can see there are two parts. Let me clear it. So you can see on the fundus we have two parts of the retina. Oh, on the optic disc, yes, the outer part you can see, and central more pale part you can see. This central part is known as optic. So these are two parts. Yes, the central part is known as optic cup, and this is the outer part is called as NRR, neuroretinal rim. Okay, neuroretinal rim. You see we have cup and this NRR. Always remember the whole the length of the whole diameter of the optic disc. I've already told you this is 1.5 mm. You have to see the CD ratio. Always whenever you're looking at the fundus, you have to check the CD ratio. CD ratio is a cup divided by disc. Okay, it should always be around 0.3. This ratio should be 0.3. This is the normal. Okay, what else? We can talk about the layers of the retina. I've already told you. So this, if this is the retina, so if it starts from here, we are looking from the anterior side to the posterior. We are remembering the layers of the retina. How many layers we have? We have 10 layers in the retina. We'll talk about them. Layers of the retina. Before going into the mnemonics, let's read the names of the layers. These are, so we have 10 layers. I've already told you these are 10 layers. We have to remember these are internal limiting membrane, nerve fiber layer, ganglion cell layer, inner plexiform layer, inner nuclear layer, outer plexiform layer, outer nuclear layer, external limiting membrane, photoreceptors, and retinal pigment epithelium. Some specific points for each layer you have to remember. Okay, one thing that is most important, that is, let's say this is your internal part of the eye, this one. Okay, this internal part, yes, in, and this is your, let's say, outer part. So we are looking from here, from upside and this way. Okay, right. So let's say light is coming from here and it's striking on the retina. Light will come like this. First layer where it will strike, that is your photoreceptors. Okay, that means photoreceptors are your first order neurons. Photoreceptors are the first order neuron. Okay, then we have inner nuclear layer. This one is inner nuclear layer. From here the impulse will go to the second order neuron. From there it will go to the ganglion cell layer. This is ganglion cell layer. From inner nuclear to ganglion cell, this is your third order neuron. Okay, first order, second order, third order. But remember one thing, whenever the light is coming on the photoreceptor first, they will generate some impulse. Yes, and that will be local graded potential. That is not action potential. This local graded potential will travel from the photoreceptors to the inner nuclear layer, from inner nuclear to the ganglion cell layer, and ganglion cell layer is the first site where the action potential is generated. So the action potential is generated on the ganglion cell layer, not on the photoreceptors. Okay, the photoreceptors are generating just the local graded potential. Okay, now, so these were the layers about, we have talked about the layers and some specific words about them. The first order neuron, second order neuron, and the third order neuron. Let's see some more things about the retinal layers. You see, we have already made the layers, but there is a gap between ninth and 10th layer. You can see here. Yes, what is this? The nine layers, the above nine layers, they work together. They are, let's say, they are considered together, and from the 10th layer they are different, and these nine layers all together known as neurosensory retina. Neurosensory retina, and this is your RPE, retinal pigment epithelium, and in between there is a gap. You can see this gap is known as subretinal space. Subretinal space. Okay, you can remember the layers of the retina by these mnemonics. In new generation, it's only ophthalmologist examining patient's retina. My nerves get in notes outside of a easy practice review, and ING, I2, O2, E, and P2. Next, we will be talking about the compartments in the eye. So we have got some fluids, let's say, humors. They are present. They are, so you can see the numbers here, 1, 2, and 3. What are they? See, the posterior part, the posterior from, let's say, from here to here, this is called as posterior segment, not chamber, this is segment. And from lens to the anterior, this is completely, this is anterior segment, not chamber again, this is segment. Now in the anterior segment we have two chambers. Okay, two chambers. Now this is anterior chamber. Okay, and this one is posterior chamber. One, this part, the posterior segment has a humor called vitreous. Okay, and the second humor that is present in the second and third, both parts, let's say, in both of them, that is aqueous. You may know the difference very well, because aqueous is a liquid form, vitreous is a gel form. Okay, aqueous is secreted, as I've already told you, in the by the ciliary. There are ciliary processes here, and the ciliary processes are continuously secreting the ciliary processes, ciliary body, let's say, that is continuously secreting the aqueous humor. But vitreous is not secreted like that. It's only developed when the eye is developing. Yes, after that, never in the life, the vitreous will never develop again. So this is a gel form due to hyaluronic acid, and this is a liquid form, the aqueous. Okay, the difference between the aqueous and vitreous, that will be given in the another video that you can see in the I button maybe. And that was all about the chambers of the eye and the whole anatomy of the eye. See you in the next one.